Greetings, Namo Buddhaya. I am K.T.S. Sarao, Professor and former Head of the Department Buddhist Studies, Delhi University. In this module number 2, I shall be talking to you about the political condition at the time of the Buddha, basically Mahajanapadas and the republics that existed at the time of the Buddha. The Pali texts talk about 16 Mahajanapadas and about 10 republics that existed at that time. So by the middle of the 6th century BCE, political Janapadas, some with fairly well defined boundaries, geographical boundaries, came into existence, and the headquarters of these Janapadas remained no longer rural. Some of these Janapadas soon grew into Mahajanapadas. The early Pali texts often mention these 16 Mahajanapadas, Solus Mahajanapada. The earliest reference actually is in the Anguttara Nikaya. So these 16 Mahajanapadas that existed at the time of the Buddha were Anga, Angas, Anga people, Magad with Magadha people, and Kashi, Koshal, Vajji, Malla, Cheti, Vans, Kuru, Panchal, Mach, Sursen, Asak, Avanti, Gandhar, and Kamboj. Apart from these 16 Mahajanapadas, early Pali and Prakrit texts also mention some ganas, sanghas that existed at the time of the Buddha, some sort of republics. For example, one was Lichavis of Vaishali, another was Videhas of Mithila, then Shakyas of Kapilavastu, Koliyas of Ramgam, Mauryas of Pippalivan, Mallas of Kushinagar, and also Mallas of Pava. Then Kalamas of Kesputta, Pulis of Allakapp, and Bhaggas of Sumsumargiri, and Nayas of Kundpur. So 12 of these Gansanghas are mentioned in the Pali and Prakrit texts. Interestingly, of these republics, only the Lichavis and the Mallas are mentioned in the list of the 16 Mahajanapadas. The others, including the Shakyas, the clan in which Lord Buddha was born, they are not included in the list of the 16 Mahajanapadas. That is very interesting. So the first Mahajanapad was Anga of the Anga people. This Mahajanapad was located to the east of Magad, from which it was separated by the river Champa, the present Chandanala, and had its capital at Champa, that is now identified with Nathnagar locality of Bhagalpur. At the time of the Buddha, it was subjected to Bimbisar, the ruler of Magad. The second republic was Magad. At the time of the Buddha, Magad Mahajanapad was bounded on the south by the Vindhya mountains, on the west by the river Son, on the north by the Ganga, and on the east by the river Champa. According to one of the Jatakas, the state of Magad was initially under the control of Ang Mahajanapad. Initially, Rajgraha was the capital of Magad, and this was later shifted to Patliputra. The core of the state was the area of modern Bihar south of the Ganga. During the early Buddhist period, Magad was an important political and commercial center and was visited by people from all parts of northern India in search of commerce and learning. Magad was in fact the cradle of two of India's major religions, Jainism and Buddhism, and it was from here that they spread to different parts of the Indian subcontinent and then later on beyond. Under Bimbisara and Ajatashatru, Magad rose to such political eminence that for several centuries the history of northern India was practically the history of Magad. And the third Mahajanapada is Kashi. The Mahajanapada of the Kashis had its capital at Varanasi. At the time of the Buddha, it had been absorbed into the Kosal Mahajanapada under King Pasenadi, who ruled over the two Mahajanapadas jointly. Varanasi was a harbour, Pattan, and was one of the 6 metropolitan cities, Mahanagaras, at the time of the Buddha. Varanasi is mentioned in early Buddhist texts as a wealthy and prosperous place which was the center of trade and industry and was particularly known for its manufacture of ships, sandalwood and clothes, where various kinds of businessmen lived. The fourth Mahajanapada was Koshal. Koshal Mahajanapada, with its capital at Shravasti, was located to the northwest of Magad and in the neighborhood of Kashi Mahajanapada. Many of the Vinaya rules were actually formulated in Koshal, and the Buddha spent majority of his Varshavasas, that is the rainy retreats, near Shravasti. At the time of the Buddha, Koshal was a powerful kingdom under King Pasenadi. At this time, Kashi was a vassal state of Koshal, as I said. It appears that with the capture of Kashi, the power of Koshal increased rapidly. However, this development seems to have put Koshal on a collision path with Magad, which was also having territorial ambitions. Bimbisara's marriage to Mahakoshal's daughter, that is the king of Magad now, gets married to the daughter of the king of Koshal. So Mahakoshal the king, his daughter, was probably only this was probably only a political alliance which only helped in postponing this ultimate clash between these two important Mahajanapadas. Quite soon after Bimbisara's death, his son Ajatashatru fought fiercely against Pasenadi. Though in the first battle Ajatashatru suffered reverses, but later, after having conquered Lichavis, he also succeeded in prevailing upon Koshal. In the 6th century BCE, the Shakyas also appear to have been subject to Koshal. For instance, in some of the Pali texts, not only that the Buddha is mentioned as a Koshalan, but Kapilavastu is also mentioned as being in Koshal Mahajanapada.